Good evening. It's Saturday night, and it's the last edition of this season of Noise from the Boys. It's the Noise from the Boys season in review. Tonight I've got the full squad with me tonight. I've got Tony Caveney, Colin Lloyd, Chris Tully, the new signing Martin Elms, and myself, Jockey. It's been a great season, but I can speak for everyone sitting around the table here who'll agree that they're gutted. You gutted, so?
I was. I'm not as bad now, but we had a great chance to meet to win it, but I'm not as severely gutted. I feel like one of the players on the day. I was a bit devastated. It wasn't a celebration, was it, on the day, because you don't understand what happened. But I'm happy now in the light of day, what we've done about it. You know, it's our target, what we wanted at the start of the season, but to get that close to it was, had one hands on it, really, didn't we?
You're gutted, aren't you, Chris?
I'm gutted, yeah. It was great after the game, actually. I thought it was brilliant. It was like we won after the game, really. And I woke up on the Monday morning feeling hungover and all depressed. I shook it off about Wednesday and I feel a little bit better now. But, we had one hand on it. Chelsea was the game, weren't it? So we were unlucky, but look forward to next season now.
Martin?
Yeah, I think with it being in our hands so close to the end of the season, three games to go, you know, we could afford a draw, that type of thing. It was there. Everyone was just believing so much, and to have it whipped away from us at the final stages is just heartbreaking, to be honest.
Colin?
Yeah, exactly what the lads have just said, Jock. I mean, it was there. It was there to be won. And the 10 days, we spoke about it last week. Like the 10 days of Armageddon, weren't it? Stevie G's slip, the Crystal Palace cave-in with 15 minutes to go, and then needing a miracle on the last day, and it really is a shame, because we should have won it, as Tony said. When we spoke about it lots and lots this season, we were good enough to win that league, but we have to roll our hands up. We were beaten by a better squad over the course of a season.
Yeah, we haven't really got any notes tonight, but we are sort of taking a different format because we haven't got a game, an upcoming game over the weekend. We're really going to talk about our highlights and low points of the season. I'm going to start off with the lads tonight, if that's okay by them. But Tony, your best game of the season?
I've been thinking about this. We've had a few, haven't we? But I'm going to go with the derby. That as my best game of the season, because they come full of pomp again, mouthing off, weren't they, for like 2 weeks, and like I was half contemplating. They've got this run's got to end sooner or later. I was thinking, they might win one, they might, you know what I mean? It's got to end sooner or later. But we actually changed the way we played on the night. We sat back a bit and let them have all the ball, and they couldn't handle it. They didn't know what to do. They were having it like on the edge, on the halfway line, knocking it about, and like the mongrels were made up, thinking they like, well, we're winning with possession or whatever. And every time we attacked, we just felt like we were going to score. Do you know what I mean? It was berserk. It was like, it's going to be about 8-0 this if it carries on like this. And like, it put doubt in their head, because you see that Jagielka and that Alcatraz, they were devastated. They were honestly like, we'd got in their heads and was like, how do we handle these when they attack? Because they didn't have a jar of glue. But other than like a few of the other games at home, like what have you, and that is not my best moment. That's my best game, because I enjoy beating them anyway. And like, it was the start of the belief, I thought, that, you know what I mean? Give us the belief, not the rest of the league or the rest of the pundits. Give us a belief, like, yeah, you know what I mean? Because Everton are a good team now anyway, you know what I mean? They're giving everyone a game and put them to bed.
I produced a show the other night for the Flagpole Corner, all the young lads, and one of the young lads said it was his best game, but he was also disappointed because that would have been the penalty, the Sturridge penalty, that would have been their 5-0. No, the way the arses go on about the 5-0, he was saying that would have been our 5-0, that. But for me, I think it was the Arsenal at our own game, the 5-1. Disappointed again that Arsenal scored in that game. I wanted that to be a 5-0, but them first 20 minutes or 18 minutes, you know, they were amazing. You know, what was it? Was 3? Did it go in 3-0 or 4-0 at half time? Yeah, it was amazing. And you said that set the tone. The Arsenal game was after the derby, weren't it?
Yeah, the derby was the 28th of January.
Yeah. Yeah. What about? Hang on. Yeah, no, we've got that. What about you, Martin? Your best game this season? Home or away?
I'd agree with the Arsenal shout. I think that was the first time I realised that we had something special, the Arsenal game. Arsenal were playing well. Arsenal were right up there with us. One of the meanest defences in the league. And that was the first time that I thought, you know, we can go all the way here and have a good go at this title. For the first half, we looked like we could have scored 8 that day. And it was the first time I really thought Raheem Sterling, you know, really grabbed the ball by the horns and started being a real threat for us. So that was my top game, the Arsenal game.
Christopher?
Yeah, same with me, Arsenal. It just pips Everton. I come out of the Everton game disappointed, and it stuck with me for a bit that we never made it 5-0, because that's my dream result against Everton, 5-0. It's always been it. And come out, you know, although the game we beat Everton 4-0, any other time, that's, you know, you're over the moon. But I was disappointed that we didn't make it 5-0. But Arsenal, the way we come out the traps at them, and as Martin just said, we could have been what? We could have been out of sight 8 in the first half. But the Suarez volley against the post, unbelievable. But yeah, that game in particular, I just thought we were brilliant, and I couldn't, you know, go past that really.
Martin?
I think that was one of the first games where we had this tempo from the off, where we used to come out and get leads in the first 20 minutes against teams. That was the start of that run that we went on, where we used to come flying out the traps. You know, the passing, the movement was great in the first 10-15 minutes, and invariably in a number of games in that period we were 1-up before, you know, within 10 minutes. And it set the tone for the last run into the season.
Colin, your best game this season?
You've all stole me tons of there, Jock. It's the Arsenal one with you, but it was the whole 8 days were brilliant, because the week before we played Everton at Anfield, absolutely tore our souls out of them, and then Arsenal again on the Saturday afternoon the following week. And as Martin touched on there, the football was fantastic then. And bear in mind, that was virtually the very start of that unbeaten run that we went on. You know, from the 30th of December against City and Chelsea, that Christmas week and the New Year week, we were unbeaten then, and it was slap bang in the middle. And it was as if Brendan had took the brakes off them and said to them, like, enough's enough now. Let's just go out and play teams the way we know we can play. And the football, them 2 weekends, was absolutely stunning.
So Tony's messed about with me bullet points there and sort of morphed best moments into best game, but I've rubbed them out because we'll also go for best moments, and I'm surprised no one's mentioned the 5-0 away at Spurs there. But for me, the best moment of the season was when John Flanagan scored. That goal at Spurs, and the celebration in his pants was, you know, must have embarrassed him a lot. Chris?
Yeah, Flano's little thing sticking out of his shorts. No, what it was, Brendan's come out, Rodgers, and said his best performance of the season is the Tottenham game away. He said that was the complete performance. He implemented everything he wanted to put into practice, and it just come to fruition in that game. And he said everything just worked, everything clicked. And that was the emergence. I thought of Raheem Sterling. He said he come through then, and he said he just went through the roof from that game. Every game consistently played brilliant from that game on.
Okay, yeah, we're going to come up to best win now, which is going to be a bit different than best game or best moments. Yeah, best moments. So
I'm
sorry, lads.
Moments. I was on about him with his. Flanagan down there, a semi in a Premier League game. You've never seen that, have you? But my best moments was, but I'm going to put them first 20 minutes against Arsenal as my best moments, because that was surreal football, do you know what I mean? That was footy off a different planet, that you were thinking. And it was the belief, do you know what I mean? And it was bizarre because they come top of the league as well. They were on a great run themselves. And you know what I mean? Arsenal were thinking, oh, this is the barometer here, we test ourselves footy-wise, you know what I mean? And it was just surreal. After 20 minutes, the fans were kicking doors down to get out the ground after 20 minutes to get the train home. And it was amazing, actually. Do you know what I mean? Because I looked at the clock, and it was was like a dream. Because the sun was shining. I was looking at the clock on the
Winter wearing it as well.
yeah, but it was mad. It was sunny, wasn't it? And I was thinking, this can't be 19 minutes. I was knackered. It was like I played myself. I'd been on my seat the 4 times in 19 minutes. I was knackered. And I've come on, like, the old performance through the day in the end. But, like, they had little sections where they were trying to play it second half. But I thought, like, them 20 minutes of me, like, my best moments of the season. Because it was the belief then of like, that gave the belief to the rest of like I said, the rest of the league and all these pundits and every other teams that these are the real deal. And give us the belief as well. You know what I mean? I think the players already knew it, that they could play fuzzy because they were up there by then anyway. But give us the belief that, like, we can do that to them, we can do that to anyone.
Colin, your best moment?
Jock, my best moment was leaving our house every home game knowing that we were going to get entertained for the first time in donkey's years, and the football was brilliant. I mean, it's a little bit selfish to say that the whole season, but we didn't have, apart from I couldn't say we were bad against Southampton, and I couldn't say we were bad against Newcastle, even though we were 1 down at half time. But 19 home games, brilliant, worth every penny this season. Long may it continue.
Martin, your best moment?
I think one moment that sticks out for me was the United away game when they give away the third penalty, and not only were we beating them, by playing them off the park football wise, it was a total embarrassment for them. You know, giving away penalties one after another. Stevie stepping up, slotting the first. Obviously, he missed the third one, but there was a moment there when they give away that third penalty that it was just laughable. It was just an absolute, and it was a joy to watch. In control. I don't even think we played that great that day when we played United. And then obviously when Louis slotted the third, you know, it just sealed the day. It was a great moment. That.
I think it was about the second penalty in 11 years that they conceded in front of the Stefford end. I think I'm here to be proved wrong, but I think it was. But yeah, okay. So we'll move on to best win. As you say, you know, we've already spoke about the United games and the Arsenals and the derbies and obviously the Man City, and some of you will be picking that. But I'm sort of going to go against the grain, and I'm going to say the best win for me was the first game of the season against Stoke when Simon Mignolet saved that penalty. And I think if he hadn't saved that penalty in the dying minutes, I think the whole season could have been totally different. You know what I mean? We were out of the blocks after that. What was it? 3 wins, was it, Chris?
3-1.
Yes,
3-1. In back in them days, we were winning the games in the first half, weren't we? Instead of the full game. But Tony, your best win this season? For whatever reason?
Yeah, I've gone with the best game. That was the best game I enjoyed. I haven't really thought about that. Can you go to Colin?
You know, like the most important win at the time, Martin.
I think the season was littered with wins that were character driven. You know, there was games we've just touched on 5 or 6 games there where we've given teams at Iden, but this season was littered with, you know, one big game for me was when we beat Stoke away. It was a game I think Daniel Sturridge had come back from an injury, came on and he scored, and him and Suarez linked up lovely for a goal near the end where he done a little bit of a step over, flicked it to the left, and Suarez come in and buried it. And it just showed a great determination and a great character that day at a place where we usually go and stink the yards out. So that was one of my best wins that I got most enjoyment out of this year. Stoke away.
Chris?
Well, I've got it down as on my notes that Stoke first game of the season. That was is it best win? Yeah, best win. Yeah, because we haven't won the first game of the season for a while. I don't think I think it was a few years, but it's always good to get that first win under your belt, first game of the season. It always gives you that little boost. You know, if you get a draw and you like that, you're sort of playing catch up again, then aren't you? But for Mignolet to save that last minute and double save it was, and we go back to the seasons prior where we say we wouldn't have won that game, and I just think it set the tone, and you could see the reaction of the players of jumping all over Mignolet, you know. Torre was there, Gerrard was there, and it just seemed like they'd been playing together for years, but they hadn't. And it was just the togetherness in that game, and that just set the tone, I thought, for the season ahead. And then we went on to Villa away, didn't we? And as I say, 3 games on the bounce, 1-0 wins. But I just think that set the tone, that Stoke game, and it was it was belief, yeah.
Well, you've stole my Stoke game off me then, haven't you? So I'll go back. I'll go back to me best moments, which is just dawned on me, and it was waking up on Christmas morning, top of the league. Colin, best win.
I remember that well. Do you know what, Jock? Last season was littered with victories everywhere that we'd normally go to, and we'd get beat, or we'd scrape, lucky to scrape a draw. And I remember the Cardiff one away, the 6-3 game, where, I mean, it was schoolboy errors, don't get me wrong, but the game of football was absolutely brilliant. I kept banging on about Liverpool being naive and being carefree in the football that they played. I banged on about it all season. It's probably our undoing in the end, to be honest with you. But that game typifies the way Brendan Rodgers plays football. Doesn't care about the opposition, doesn't matter who they are. You just get out and do what you are best. And that 6-3 at Cardiff typified that. I mean, it could have been 12-8 at one point. It was just to and fro.
I had 12-8.
But yeah, Tony did have 12-8, yeah. And yeah. But games like that, Norwich away, another one, West Ham away, we beat West Ham. You know, all games and places that we should have went to, well, we could have went to and lost all through, but we've turned the corner now. And last season, there's so many games that I enjoyed, but the one that sticks out most of all for me, and I think it will for everybody in some form or other, is the Everton, the 4-0 at home. We put them to bed. Chris touched on it before. They came or Tony, they came spouting as they usually do. We're going to do this. It's our team, whatever. We're bored here, and they got buried. Good.
And we got a bit of peace on social media for a couple of weeks.
We all went missing.
You could hear a pin drop. I was going to say you could hear a pin drop on Facebook. Right, it was quiet on it for about 3 weeks after. But my one, the win, my best win, what I've just had a little think about was the Southampton game. Was like pivotal. We haven't had a pivotal, have we? Because, like you said, we were going to grounds where we hadn't had a bit of joy in the past, and you were like debating, and like Southampton, it was getting built up like a final, wasn't it? Oh, Southampton, we never win. We've got this terrible record down. I've never won at St Mary's or something. And to go there and win, and like we scored early, Suarez, didn't we? Then it just set a mark at them. We were all right through the game. We played with a pomp, but again, we played brilliant. We went for a walk, didn't we? Come back and watched it in here, but what we done that day, you could see we had like a resilience about us. Do you know what I mean? It wasn't like the best for us. So we had that side of the game as well, Liverpool. We could grind the thing up, but in the end, it was pretty comfortable. But I remember being like, we were berserking here, weren't we? It was like we were only playing Southampton away. It was like
it was all little markers getting put on, like yeah, we've done that, and we beat Southampton, which was getting built up like. Yeah, it was like Southampton. We were going into the games if we were playing Real Madrid. But and then so little markers were getting knocked down all the way along the, but you can go on and on. But go on, crack on.
Right, yeah, that's another thing. Like what he's saying, Chris is bang on there. Like what he's saying, Look, we've always been like, he has, towards the end of the season, he hasn't got a plan B. He's had a plan B and a plan C, because last year possession was our plan A, wasn't it? And so it was just all about possession. I mean, like, we were looking the part, but there was no one product really sometimes, was there? Then, like, he's changed his philosophy in a way, and like, he's added the attack into the foot. But as a detriment, you're going to suffer at the back through that as well, with piling on. But that's a plan B, the attacking. And sporadically through the season, you could see where we were grinding things out, the way we changed against Everton at home, instead of this gung-go of attack, and the way we went to Southampton away, and there was like examples there of where he had changed the way we played. You know what I mean? It's all right saying the last game Chelsea we should have played for a draw. That's just bullshit. It's impossible to play footy for a draw. So, but he hasn't got a plan B. All the negativity come out after that game just come flooding out by divvies. But I was like, Brendan, and like right away, I've faith because he was saying, I'll learn off that, and that won't happen next year, and that won't happen next year. Do you know what I mean? So he did have a plan B and a plan C. He was getting shown every other week, whoever we played, he'd adapt.
Okay, good answers. The next one we come to is going to be, I think, a really difficult one. We've scored 101 goals this season. Where do you start? The best goal of the season? Where do you start? Colin? But sorry, you weren't expecting it, was you?
No, I wasn't.
All right, well, okay, I'll jog your memory for you, right?
Everyone, you've changed the format.
Yeah.
The longest on us
Yeah.
10 minutes ago.
I'll jog your memory then, right? I'll jog your memory. Norwich.
Easy.
You think it's easy?
I'd probably disagree with people from the Norwich game. I think a lot of people would go for the long distance one. Yeah. I think the best goal of the game was his third, where he came in, flicked it over the fella's head. No. He sort of jinked forward. And then,
who are we talking about? Who says it's going to be a Luis Suarez goal?
I think it was Nicky Sana. No, it was Suarez's third. The way he had caught that on the half volley, that's such a hard skill to master that.
The long one or the one where he just backs off?
No, he's got that Leroy Fair, the big dope that Everton were chasing for ages, and he jibbed him. He knocked it over his head, little bit of it went to go for, and then hit it on the half volley, and it never moved, it never ever wavered from that one line where it was going. That Ruddy, not a bad keeper either. I thought that was my personal favourite anyway.
Mine was, and someone's going to help me because I don't even know what game it was. Sturridge wasn't long back from his injury. And I think we won this game 4-0. It might have been West Brom at home in front of the Kop. Luis Suarez had scored an hat-trick. And Sturridge was right in the shadows of Suarez. And he just got the ball and he just launched it. Quite similar to Suarez's goal against Norwich. And Sturridge just thought, anything you can do, I can do better, and he stole the show. Even though Suarez scored an hat-trick, so was it West Brom? Was it? Yeah. So my goal of the season's Sturridge against West Brom. Right, come on, Chris.
There's that many. I mean, 101. Suarez's header where he curled it in, where against Palace, where he cut him from the edge of the box. That was a screamer. Remember that one? Yeah. Brilliant. But Martin, the pundits went with that one. Like Lineker and everyone on Match of the Day said that was the most, that was the hardest goal to score the lot. But I just thought the way he hit that ball against Norwich, the volley, I'm going with that one myself. The outside of his foot, he meant every single bit of it, and just to put the technique he done and put into that shot was brilliant. And I'm going with that one myself personally.
Colin, you decided yet?
Well, I decided, Jock. Yeah, I liked. I'm not going to go with Luis Suarez because we all wax lyrical about him every week. And I'm going to go with Daniel Sturridge, and I'm going to go back to that very first game that started it all off, the Stoke City game, where he took it on his chest, got it out of his feet dead early, and he just buried it past the goalkeeper. And it was a simple goal that looked simple in his eyes probably, and it wasn't something that would catch your eye. But from that moment onwards, mate, it set the tone for the way we played football. It was the most important goal I think we scored all season.
Anthony, have you given us yours?
I was going to go for that little delicate chip without looking up that he done on the corner of the box, Sturridge, when he come back. So that was just like sublime, wasn't it? But there's a few, like I was going to have the Fulham goal in the last minute, but I thought, no, fuck that off. So the one I like was the derby, the fourth, well, the third, at the road end where he lifted it over the goalie, and the two of them just stood there, like their arms around the necks, just looking at Everton. Yeah, and it was like he'd done that blind. Like, yeah, it was game. He was just looking at them. He had his arms out like some kind of god, just looking at the Mongols, and they were devastated. But the finish itself was hard to do because you never looked at it. It was just instinct, bang over his head. So I'll go for that one. Anything against Everton at the minute.
Great answers. Just something's come into my mind while we're on that subject. What about the greatest goal that never was? I'll give you two straight away. That cheeky one the other day against Newcastle. Yeah. The goal that never was. And also, do you remember that free kick against Arsenal? Where the ball was just, and they didn't even build a wall because from Suarez, the ball was that far out, he didn't even bother building the wall, and he just did it. Can you remember that in the cup? He saved it like that. No. Yeah, well, anyway, our listeners will. Top corner, yeah.
Well, it would have been for me Arsenal at home, the one where he rattled the post. That would have been the goal of the season. Yeah. Unfortunately,
One that did give me great delight, Jock, and you'll all know why, was the Oldham game. No, Notts County, I think it was. And we were down to 10 men, and then we were in the deep throes of extra time. It looks like we were going to come undone. And Jordan Henderson got the ball on the halfway line, slipped it between the defender's legs, and then just curled it round the goalkeeper. I mean, we were up against it there as well. Do you know what I mean? Dragging ourselves back into the game. But that gave me a lot of pleasure because I like the fella. He's a good footballer, I think.
Yeah. Sounds okay. So that was the best goal. Now I should have warned you about all these. The biggest surprise of the season, namely a player.
I hope he comes to the end and says, "What's your favourite movie and your favourite meal?"
It's like Boy Gale.
Like the shoot. Used to get the shoot every week, and at the end, it's ask a player what your favourite Everton was. The favourite drink was always shandy. The favourite meal was steak and chips.
Or it might just be, let's make these look like a gang of divvies and spring something on them.
Do you want to do this? Right. The biggest surprise this season, player. For me, it's Raheem Sterling. I'd have sold him at Christmas. I'd have took about 3-5 million on him at Christmas, and the turnaround from him only because of the Sturridge injury. He got his chance, but for me, it's Raheem Sterling. He's turned into he was like a new signing, weren't he, after Christmas? Colin?
I think he could have been one of the envelopes. I know there was nothing probably in the envelope, but in all honesty, everything you said, Jock, was right. His attitude stunk from August to Crimbo. Brendan's obviously sat him down and shows him the envelope and said, "Look, have a guess who's in this." And he's turned tail and he's pulled his finger out, because now he's going to Brazil now, as probably the most secretive weapon that England can possibly pull out. Do you know what I mean? But another two players as well. I'll finish. I'll pass on. I don't want to be greedy. Jordan Henderson for obvious reasons. Raheem Sterling, John Flanagan for obvious reasons. But the main one, Luis Suarez, to go from where he was in the summer to where he is now. And Tony, I mean...
You just named the old squad. You just named the old 23 squad.
I don't want to be greedy, but all right, well, out of all of them, you've got to say Luis Suarez, for where he was in June and July to where he is now. I mean, it takes an unbelievable type of footballer to do what he's done after being in the place, in the mindset where he was.
Tony, I shall go to Martin. Martin, Lloyd has just mentioned 23 of the 25 squad players.
I'm going to say a load more, to be honest. If you think about we finished that season there, and each and every player, I think at the start of the season, I'd say 20 of that squad, you wouldn't have imagined would have had a good a season as what they've had. And another player I'd like to pick out, he featured in fits and starts, but I thought Joe Allen came into his own a part at the last part of the season. I always thought Henderson, I've had arguments after arguments about Jordan Henderson with my mate who says he was never going to be a player. And I think he's been outstanding this year. And who knows what would have happened if he wouldn't have been sent off in that City game. But Sterling, I would have took £1.5 million for Sterling. I thought he was too lightweight. I thought his head was in the wrong place. I thought he had off the field distractions that were going to deter him from a good football career. So the job that he's done with him and what he's done for himself as well, really, the way he's knuckled down, he's been the most outstanding improvement for me, Sterling.
Chris?
Yeah, we talked about Flanagan and we talked about Sterling and Alan Henderson pre-Christmas, and I think we were all in agreement that we thought, well, they're going nowhere. Just get rid, whatever. Yeah, I would have loaned Sterling out. I wouldn't have sold him. Would have loaned him out because I thought he had potential. Sterling's the obvious one. I'm going to go with John Flanagan. The way he come in against Everton at Goodison, the 3-3, and he was man of the match. He was brilliant. He got stuck in. He was gnarled, scouse, warrior in the back. And he's going to be our new Jamie Carragher. He's ahead of Carragher. When Carragher first started off, Carragher started left, right, centre half in the end, and he's a few years ahead of Carragher at his age group now, and he's going to be there now as long as Carragher's there. And I think for me, Flanagan, and he's made that 30 for the England squad, which is, do you know what? For Flanagan to make that, to get on the bench for that England squad, it's unbelievable. Yeah. But what he's done for Liverpool this year, and just with his heart, you know what I mean? His little Scouse heartbeat, and he's going to be the one that's going to, after Gerrard's gone, he's going to be the one who's going to carry us through for our Scouse heartbeat.
Getting back to so he's not on the plane to Rio yet, is he?
No. He's the lounge.
Yeah, but would you if you was Roy Hodgson, would you just take him just for one game, that Uruguay game? He plays with Suarez every week, and to put him in against Suarez, or even just to coach the back four to what Suarez can get up to. No, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about Roy Hodgson.
Well, can't he have Sterling's mum spec on the plane, because he goes everywhere with his mum. He's probably still on his mum's passport, Sterling, anyway. Do you know what I mean? But no, like Colin was saying there, mine, and this is personally this, for Suarez, because I was getting shut of him, mate. You know, with his carrying at the start of the season, some of the press conferences he was going on about the club and being disrespectful, I was like, I'd have sold him, mate. You know what I mean? He was just troublesome and we didn't need it. But and I was on thin ice with him at the start of the season, because he didn't play for 5 games, and because we were winning, it was saying, we didn't need him. Wasn't it? I was saying we didn't need him anyway. And I was just fed up with him, you know what I mean? No one's bigger than the club type thing, and his carry-on was a bit disrespectful. But for myself to, slowly, gradually, to change it round to where, you adore someone as well, do you know what I mean? I'll throw my hands in. I did want him out the club at the start of the season. But the change in him and what he's done, because he's kept all his nitty-gritty and his anger, but channeled it in the right way. Do you know what I mean? You can't lose that. Like, Rooney's got it, and certain fellas have it, this anger that you play with, and if you take that away, you take a bit of the game away off them. But he's channeled it in a right way. He can still get... I like it the way he takes it out on refs and not opposition, do you know what I mean? His arm waving and all this. I like the way he does it like that, and you can tell he's like Mark Hughes back in the day. I seen an interview with Mark Hughes years ago, and he was saying, I used to hate Mark Hughes, you know what I mean? He was all elbows, he was a dirty bastard, and he'd seen this interview and he was whispering on, when I'm in the house with my wife, and that's it. Do you know what I mean? I was thinking, that can't be the same fella there. And he was just talking, he wasn't sparky than fucking scissor kicks. But I was thinking, that's not the snarler on the pitch. And then he said the same thing. He said, when I'm in the house, Suarez said, when I'm in the house, he said, I'm dead timid. And he said, that's how I release me blah blah on the pitch. And I know, we've all played footy, I've done it myself. Yeah, he's bang on.
Could I just butt in there? Further down my points, I had a bullet point for Luis Suarez, but we just may as well go right into it now about Suarez. Sorry, go on, Chris, you're saying he's a family man?
Yeah, he's a family man. I think it's Bird has a words with him, said, well, you calm down, behave yourself, because, you're taking the piss, and he's sucking on board, and you can see how much he's a family man, and all he wants to do is play football and be on home with his kids and his birds, and, good. It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
Apparently, he's already enrolled his kids in school in Liverpool for September. But take that as with a pinch of salt.
I think if his bird's happy and his kids are happy, he's happy here. And that picture of him where he's in the garden playing footy with the baby with his Liverpool kit on.
No, really. Look, last year I was playing footy with our Jacob. So he was 6 last year. He bit me. You know what I mean? The kids in the yard, he was messing about that Suarez. And this year, he's changed mentalities. You know what I mean? You don't get that no more.
You're Jacob or Louis Suarez.
Jacob still bites me, but no. But you know what I mean? That was the impression he was giving kids. It was a bad impression for the club, and it was embarrassing for the club to carry on out of him. And now you know what I mean? It's nothing but good. Everything that's good about our club is Suarez. Do you know what I mean? So the change in the fella. It's unbelievable, really, the way he's changed.
Player of the season.
Yeah, and he's gone for, and even you've got Evra voting for him, and all this Ivanovic have voted for him. The whole league, fellow professionals, have voted for him. So what, you know what I mean? These same fellas last year probably hated the bones of him. So to change in their mindset about him as well. So I'll take my ass off to him. He's back in the good books with me.
Is he going to be staying here?
Yeah, he's come up. Well, this is what I was saying today, and I'm made up with this. I think Brendan's told him to do this. There was a little quandary hanging over us. We're trying to get bits and bobs done before we go to the World Cup, because we don't want none of this coming. We've got a short period when we come back to sign and place. And the biggest quandary was this Madrid and Barcelona hanging over. It was in the papers last week, are they going to put a bid in? They put a 75 mil, putting a bid. And I was thinking, come out now and just nip that in the bud right away about Suarez. And give him his due. He come out today. Yeah, he's come out today and he went, I'm going nowhere. I love the city. He's even done an interview, so it's not just in paper talk. It's proper, from the horse's mouth, pardon the pun. But, no, right, and he's got him there talking, and he's saying, you know what I mean, I can't wait to play in the Champions League for Liverpool Football Club. He says, I can't wait to run out at Anfield. I've seen it in a league game. I can't wait to run Anfield on a Wednesday night and all. And I think he's legit about it. And I'm glad that's been nipped in the bud. So that's out the way. You know what I mean? He can go and play. And he knows himself that the upside of that, the flip coin, is that he can go to the World Cup now with no stress on his head and go and terrorise. He's coming back from that World Cup, the top player in the world, I'm convinced of it.
That's all well and good. So, but if Liverpool Football Club got offered 100 million for him, they're not going to knock that back. So
we should be spending that kind of money this season.
What's happened is he said he's staying in it, so that's like hypothetical. You know what I mean? We're not. Yeah.
For everything that's gone on this season, we'd be foolish to sell him for any cost at the moment. I mean, this contract that he's got now will take him to probably the end of his most valuable years. He could be 31 when he comes out of this contract, and then we'll have got the best year. We'll have had 100 million quid's worth of footballer out of him.
Do you know, the papers, whatever happens, whatever Suarez says, the papers are going to be throwing Barcelona and Real Madrid at us now for the next 3 months, aren't they? Do you think the result of this European Cup final between Real Madrid and Atletico would have any sway on that if Atletico won it? Because, you know, you could easily say Suarez has got everything here, but he hasn't got medals, you know, and would that attract him more if Real Madrid win the European Cup?
I can't see it, Josh, no, because he's in a, Tony's just said it there, he's in a good place at the moment mentally. His family is settled, they all love it, the football he's playing is brilliant. Tony's just said he's going to a World Cup now, top of his game. He's going to come back. I mean, just to go sideways slightly, 16-1 for leading goal scorer there. You could win it with 6. He'll get 3 against England, against them 2 centre-halves that they turn out. The fella is going to probably, if not this year, possibly next season. There's an old saying, you can't win the goal, you know, the Ballon d'Or unless you're in the Champions League. Now, he's got that chance now next season with Liverpool. There's every possibility that this fella this time next year could be crowned World Footballer of the Year.
This is just hypothetical, right? But if someone was offer me the league, right, or keep Suarez to the end of his career at Liverpool, I'd keep Suarez at Liverpool to the end of his career, because there's no doubt in my mind he will win us that league and he'll win us the European Cup, because he's going to turn out to be the best player in the world over the next couple of years. How old is he now? 27. Okay, he's in his prime now, so he's got another couple of years left in him, and he's got pure hunger in him. So, I know it's just a hypothetical thing, but I'd want Suarez to stay at Liverpool now to the end of his career, because I know we win more trophies now keeping him than selling him.
Martin?
I think with Suarez, I don't think we can ever get carried away with the idea that he's a Liverpool fan. I think, you know, we've shown loyalty this year because the club was stubborn and we dug in and we kept him here. If next year, you know, things don't go as well as things have gone this year and we're not in the Champions League the year after, I don't think he'll stay the year after. The lads, I think we've spoken about it before. The lads grew up in the other side of the world. Liverpool have not a prominent thing in his life, to be honest. He never grew up being a Liverpool fan. He's over here in Europe. The lads, the way he was crying after that Crystal Palace game just shows you how much the lad hurts when he's not winning. He's a born winner, and I think that's all he's in Europe to do, to play at the highest possible level he can do, to win as many trophies as he can do. At the moment, we're ticking boxes for him. And he's ticking boxes for us, obviously, because we're in the Champions League. But I don't think we should get carried away with the romanticism of Luis Suarez being all for Liverpool. He's not. He's ticking the boxes for us. We're ticking the boxes for him. And long may it continue. Yeah, I want him to be here forever and ever. But all I'm saying is, he's not going to. If we don't get in the Champions League next year, he'll be knocking on the door and wanting to go. He's not a Steven Gerrard. He wasn't born in Aiton. He wasn't born in...
You're talking to scenarios that aren't happening at the minute, you know what I mean? Let's just enjoy for what he's here. We're in the Champions League. He's with us. McManaman went. So there's the Liverpool... You know, he's a Liverpool lad, and he went.
But Tony...
Tony sold the board...
It doesn't attract to foreign players. It doesn't attract to homegrown players either, because they'll all leave if they want.
But Tony, hang on. But Tony, as soon as that final whistle goes in the World Cup final, the newspapers are going to be on Luis Suarez.
You can only take him for what's being said at hand. You can only take him for what's being said at the minute, innit? You know what I mean? It's all right saying if we, you know what I mean, I wouldn't like him, I wouldn't like, he'll go if this and he'll go. That hasn't occurred and that hasn't rose at the minute. Yeah. And when that, if that does, God forbid it doesn't, if that does arise, then like situations, and then you can address it. But at the minute to say like, you know, this and that, that's not, you can't talk on things that aren't happening, can you? We can't talk about things that aren't happening. They're not happening at the minute. That's just like yourself thinking in your head, you know, hypothetically that might happen. Worst case scenario. I don't comment on, I don't say nothing. I don't comment on things that I don't like aren't happening at the minute.
I think if he's won the league, he's an 100%. He's an 100% sustained. But with us not win the league, I can't guarantee that he will stay.
I'm just talking about from the situation we were in a year ago. We were in a year ago where he was spitting his dummy out and that type of thing, and now that's what I'm saying, Tony, is you've forgotten about that now because he's playing good football for Liverpool. What I'm saying is I haven't forgot about that, and I know he's here as a footballer playing football for us. Cracking player, great player. He'll do his best for us on the pitch, but I haven't forgot about that. Is what I'm saying. He's not. Yeah.
You don't forget about Gerrard wanting to go to Chelsea, but at the time he's doing well for us now. He's saying he doesn't want to leave. Do you know what I mean? If next year and he says I want to leave, then it's a different thing. You look at him in a different way. Do you know what I mean? But at the minute, let's look at the positive. Let's say next year he's with the champions of England. And he's in the final of the European Cup final, Champions League, with us. Why can't we look at it like that? Why has it got to be like, he's going to leave? Let's look at the positive things.
Colin?
If you take Everton at face value this season, we had Luis Suarez scored 30 goals, Daniel Sturridge scored over 20 goals. Liverpool were brilliant going forwards, and they were a bit garbage at the back. If you take that, what have we got to do next season? We've got to come first. We've got to make up. What was it? 2 points in the end that we needed to make up. 3 points. Now, if you gave me a pool of players to say who can do this season in, season out, them two would be at the top of my list. Suarez and Sturridge. The proven goal scorers. They'll do it next season. I'm guaranteeing you now. Obviously, I can't, but they'll score 50 league goals a game next season between them. 100% they'll score 50 league goals between them. No doubts about it. The problem we've got is what we're doing at the back defensive-wise. Now, naivety, go, call it what you want. We were shite at the back, basically, in key moments. Individual errors cost us big time in two games that spring to mind, obviously. All we've got to do is iron out little things in that team, and we can win that league. There is no danger of us winning the league.
Martin?
I think this season Rodgers has proved that he can organise an attacking 5 or 6 players. Going forward this season, we've been unstoppable. I think this summer and coming into the start of next season, it's good. We're going to see if Brendan Rodgers in his makeup has got the organising a good defensive unit as well. Because this year we've been shocking some days, so that's gonna be good, an exciting thing to watch unfold. Really, how we organise us going forward at the back.
Yeah. Okay, back to the Shoot magazine questions. Let's lower the. Let's lower the tone. The biggest disappointments of the season. Where do we start?
My biggest disappointment of the season would have to be the Gerrard slip because of who it happened to. He's coming for a little bit of criticism from some quarters, Gerrard, but he's been outstanding for the main part this year. He adapted to a new role. He's been Brendan Rodgers' leader on the pitch. Apparently, Brendan thinks the sun shines out of his arse, and then for us to get so close to it to happening, winning the league. And then for him, of all the people, I just felt so sorry for him. And I just felt, at that point, you all know how much it bangs on about us winning the league and our ability to win the league. And I thought we were actually going to do it. And for it to come down to an individual level of Stevie G, also a few other things, obviously, but it was just blew up and everything, and as I say, I felt really sorry for him. I wish it had happened to somebody else, because he didn't deserve that to happen to him, but it did, so case of that.
There's a little footage of Sky, I've never seen it, I've seen it the other day. Where he says, we go again, we go next week, we go again. There's a bit after it where he says, we don't let this slip, and then it showed you them slipping. Put a montage of it together, and it was horrible.
There's no need for anything like that.
Do you know what I mean? I know, it was horrible. My the thing's in front of me. What was it? My lowest was the Palace, Palace game. I thought that was the end of it myself then. I knew then that we weren't going to but if we'd won at Palace, you never know what the mindset they would have had the next day, do you know what I mean? There was still a good chance at Palace. And to be 3-0 up, them last 11 minutes just wrote me off them. It was just, remember when we were running down that Terry Waite stand, as we were running out.
The radiator stand.
Uncuffing the fella off the radiator. As we were running out, they scored, didn't they? They scored, and you just knew then that's the end of our league, our season, our challenge, or whatever, do you know what I mean? It just wrote me off. That's why we had to get on it on the way home.
I won't say the lowest moment of the season, because I'm like yourselves, the Chelsea slip and the Crystal Palace thing. But the thing that disappointed me at the time the most was what was such a waste was that goal that Kolo Touré give away against West Brom. What a waste of that. We'd have had, we'd have come away with 3 points there, and things could have been. I mean, it's all swings and roundabouts, but there was just no need for it. I mean, it was worse than the Gerrard slip, because he just slipped. He didn't actually kick the ball into the. I saw it, and then he come on against, who was it the other week? Sunderland. Yeah. He didn't play again till Sunday the other week. Come straight on and nearly scored an own goal with his head. So very disappointing that. Chris, your lowest moments, and you've had a few. I've seen you crying into your Guinness a few times this season.
Can I pick two? No, Chelsea was a disappointment, but I wouldn't blame Gerrard. It was the whole game in itself. It was just, we got stifled. It was the referee wouldn't give a card earlier on to stop all the time wasting. It was the whole game. It weren't just Gerrard slipping. It was the whole game. It just weren't. Everyone's going on Gerrard slip. We lost the league because Gerrard slip. I'm not having it. Gerrard dragged us up our arse for years. So I'm not having that. He slipped. It was a mistake. Demba Ba went through. And Mignolet saved a shot against Newcastle. Same sort of thing. Went right through. If Mignolet sort of stays on his line, yeah. So Palace was mine. I'd say Palace. Even though it was out of our hands, we got off at 3-2, didn't we? I was starving. I said, come on, let's go down. He was selling Aberdeen Angus hamburgers and chips downstairs.
Tidy.
They were lovely. So I went down. Yeah, you got half with me.
Oh, yeah.
You went half. No, we got half. That's half each. Well, we went half and half. We went half on the Aberdeen Angus hamburger and a portion of chips.
I got the Aberdeen.
So coming out of there, walking back to the train station, and I was absolutely devastated. And I had to drive home from London, and I had two fellas in the back of the car who just didn't shut up from. And it was just, I just couldn't stop thinking about the game. And all these were going on about was just, I don't know, gobbledygook really. So Palace was my most disappointing night of the lot.
Minutes will live in my memory.
Martin?
Chelsea game, and the way they broke away the last minute, and they were just running up the pitch, and the further they got towards that goal, the further you could feel the league slipping away. And then the other fella running down the line, beating his chest after stifling the life out of the football.
We're going to be coming up to him in a minute.
Yeah, that was my, and the fella who ran away with the ball as well was a massive disappointment. Chelsea centre forward with the blonde hair, running up the pitch with the ball.
Well, another big disappointment of the season was that they never made more of that volley I done in the Annie Road. You know, when sorry, that was a big disappointment for me. That.
Right, okay, we're going to come back in a minute to talk about the Spine Cop lads, and we'll even talk about the Crystal Palace fans, and we'll come.
I'm not into this now.
We've all got army jumpers on here sitting there.
and we're going to talk a bit about Brendan Rodgers, but as if you're a regular listener, you'll have known our spot every week, Wanker of the Week, and this is the. This is like the final of the Wank of the Week. The Golden Palm Award. So, well, what did you call it before?
The Palm d'Or.
The Palm d'Or. Now, there's a lot of heavy competition for this. Just being this. I mean,
prestigious award.
It's a prestigious award. I mean, Chris has tried to give it to what's his name again? Mick Hucknall. But anyway, which we all agreed that I'm going to throw out the nominations. So that it's right in no particular order. So in no particular order, then I'll mention all the nominations. What are in the envelope here? First of all, David Moyes has got to be a nomination. Then
Ed Woodward now for sacking him.
Yeah,
he's the biggest one.
And then obviously Jose Mourinho. He's had a good go at it. Evertonians, collectively.
EFC.
But the nomination I'm going for myself is United fans, Man United fans. You know what I mean? They're getting like Evertonians now. Our failures turn into their success. They've been so successful for years, but they sent 2 planes up this week into the air at a cost of £950 to gold us over the league, even though they weren't even in the title run. But United fans. So, hang on. I'll throw our nomination, yeah.
The fellas who printed us with League Champions t-shirts before the fucking season of...
Well, they were paddies, they were Irish, weren't they? They were on sale and something. Do you know what, as well? Another nominee for the Golden Palm Awards. The soft bastards who went up to Asda and got the picture took with the Premier League replica. But Tony, come on, who's
mine? I'm gonna go with Mourinho. I don't like Mourinho at all. I think he's bad for English footy, and they're starting to get wise to him now. But about Monday morning, he's at it again about Suarez getting the Player of the Year, saying he shouldn't give it to a diver and a cheat. And I'm always a firm believer. He said it's going back on English football.
No, what he also said, so you shouldn't give it to someone who hasn't won the league, and this was before the final game of the season.
I wrote all that down, Jock, and I was just about to get to that. And he said, they're going on the last 6-7 years of the English league. It's always gone to a champion. He said, so you shouldn't give it to a fella who doesn't believe in a champion. And he said Dzeko. He said, give it to Dzeko, because that fella's come off the bench when he needed to and scored 16 goals. So and then he had a slight, I wrote it down, he had a little sly dig at the end as well. He went, like Gerrard carried himself with class, so I won't say nothing about him. He scored loads of, he's deadly from the penalty spots, but he's had loads of chances too with the penalties he's been earned. Do you know, like another sly, like thinly veiled criticism at Suarez as well? And it's like that running up the line, carry on and all that stupid. Like, the press are getting on him now, and I'd love... Like, he got rid of him last time, right, Abramovich, because he wanted to play this attacking foot. He wanted to be like Barcelona, didn't he? So this is why he brought all Hazard in and all this Oscar, you know, all these attacking players. And, like, he can't be happy with the way he's gone back 10 years with this Mourinho, do you know what I mean? Yeah, and Abramovich, I'd love him to just get rid of him, just get him out of our league and fuck him off back to Italy, or go back to that pork and cheese league, where, you know what I mean? There's only 2 teams in it.
But he said some ones with them the season before.
Idiots.
I think Tony might get his wish soon. I think Abramovich isn't going to put up with that for another season. Certainly, we have the amount of money he spends, and even the fans won't put up with it. But I'm going to go to option 3 you gave us, Jock, and I'm going to say Man United fans for Hounds and Paul David. out of a job.
Out of the wanker of the season award.
Out of a job that he was doing quite fucking well, as far as I'm concerned.
If it weren't for Man United fans, he'd have got the Golden Palm Award, but he dropped off at the end. Chris, Chris, the Golden Palm Award.
Yeah, it's got to be Mourinho, I think. He's just he's gone backwards, as he said. He's just miserable. He doesn't seem happy. He's not got that persona against no more, has he? No, he's horrible. He's just a miserable. It goes against everything he wants in football. And he's just upset me this season, really, Mourinho.
Yeah, you're easily upset though, aren't you?
Yeah, no. He's come across as this grumpy little punter, but no, it's just I'll go with Mourinho. He's a wanker.
He said not so much about us. It's about fuzzy. He's saying at the start of the season, he started having a peck at Wenger, saying he's an expert in losing. He's a serial loser. Now I'd love Hull to win, but on the flip side, I'd love Arsenal to win that league. So Wenger comes out and tests the water back with him. It is horrible. There's no need. Look at Wenger, what he's done for English footy. You know what I mean?
I think it's all going to come out soon that John Terry's been stuck up his ass all season and he can't get rid of him.
Oh, I love it.
Right, so you're Mourinho, aren't you?
Mourinho.
You're Mourinho, aren't you? Me and you are United. Me and you Man United fans. Martin, you've got the cast and vote.
I'm going to go for the Portuguese again. I think the way he has spoke badly about people this year, the referees, there's games where refs have been fair as you like, and they've lost games fair and square, and he's turned on the refs. Blatant sort of mind games with his team, taking the pressure off his team. But just the insults and as you said about Wenger, that fella, deserves all the plaudits he gets, Wenger. he's just been totally classless. The football he plays is terrible, and I think you're right. I think he's also tried to fool Abramovich this year as well by it's not his team, first year back in the job, all this. He spent a load of money in the summer. Next year is a big season for Mourinho, and I think this might get your wish next summer.
Yeah, I think, and the treatment with Eto as well. You know, and the strikers, because the start of the season, he spat his dummy out at the very start of the season, Mourinho, as if to say, I've got no strikers at this club, so I'm not going to do well at all. And he got his digs in at the first game of the season, and he's legged Eto. Eto's a brilliant player. Yeah. You know, he's only 33, Eto. Eto could go anywhere and still do a job.
One thing I will say about Mourinho is, since Ferguson's gone, I think Mourinho's took it upon himself to be this like overlord of the Premier League. Like Wenger's quite reserved. Unless Wenger's poked and jabbed, you won't get much out of Wenger. And we spoke about Pellegrini and Brendan last week, how gentlemanly they were throughout the running. And then you've got this sore little shite bag, Mourinho, and I think he's took it upon himself to be like this trouble causer. But it's old hat. We've moved on. That's finished all that when Ferguson went. So. And I think we're all in agreement, Martin and Tony and everyone else, that Abramovich might cut his losses sooner rather than later with him.
So there it is. Jose Mourinho, take your minds off the cop, get your hands on your cock. You've won the Golden Palm Award. Jose, you are wanker of the season. Good night. Let's go a bit dignified and then let's have a little chat about Brendan Rodgers, where we're going with him. We've got the right man for the job, haven't we?
Well, last weekend, I spoke to Tony last weekend. I had his brother in the cab the day before Newcastle, picked him up from Oak Street Hotel, him and his tart. And his nickname actually is Fudgy. So he's told me to tell, he'll answer to that. If you shout Brendan, he just thinks it's a football fan. But if you shout Fudgy, he'll turn round and he'll give you the time of eggs. He'll want to know how you found it out. So if anybody ever bumps into him, call him Fudgy. But, yeah. Jock, I mean, we've stumbled across this fella, I think. If we go back, take our minds back to when there were supposedly so-called interviews and all the rumours were going round. I mean, some of them were, if you'd remember, Jürgen Klinsmann had an interview. There was rumours of Rafa coming back, Roberto Martinez, Pellegrini was another one, Chris, yeah? And by chance, I think this fella, he won it on his interview. His vision of how to take a football club that was huge, but shall we say dormant or, you know, asleep, as it were, and move that club forwards with a vision of good football, attacking football, based on kids and senior pros, and an honest form of football as well. And, I mean, Liverpool played their football. They say your football mirrors your manager, and he's a gentleman, Brendan Rodgers, and you can see that in our football's fresh and clean and brand new. We've all loved this season, and it's going to be exactly the same again for next year. He still hasn't signed this contract yet, but it's on the table. He's not going anywhere. We all know that. I mean, someone was saying Barcelona the other day. They won in Barcelona. I mean, they just pull this shite out of thin air. But we've stumbled across this fella, and he stumbles into us as well, because he keeps, you know, every time we keep hearing these interviews he's doing, we've all agreed in past shows, if you close your eyes, you'd think you were listening to Shankly talking. He's brought us back from the edge of the precipice. We were nearly going under the original Yank 6 and Gillette. We were a team on its backside. We'd almost become a selling team, selling stars to Chelsea and stuff like that, our best players. You know, one went to Barcelona, etc. The other one nearly went to Chelsea. But he's turned that round now. And he's going to prove this in the summer by the people he goes out and buy, because the way we play football and the way we finish this league this season, we're shopping in a different type of football and arena now. Do you know what I mean? We're going for the World Cup. We're going for the World Cup stars and the Champions League stars, and people are they all want to jump on board. It's called the Brendan Rodgers Express.
The Fudgy Express.
Yeah, yeah. So look, if you don't see what Brendan's putting in place here, like concrete footings really for what he's doing. You know what I mean? This wasn't a one-off season because we weren't in Europe. I've heard all kinds of shite. You know what I mean? Watch his next year and all this. He'll embrace this and take it on board. He's already thinking ahead of what's going on. You know what I mean? As soon as, like, they all do, like Joe Fagan, Paisley, all them. As soon as the season finishes, you start thinking of next season. Do you know what I mean? You know, he's got that in his makeup. Now, what he's building, I seen it the other day on him. He was at the under-9s. They were signing the first ever contracts, the kids, 40 kids. Little Robbie Fowler's lads signed little Jacob as well. And he was there signing them on. You know what I mean? Meeting, greeting the parents and all that. So he's fully hands-on with the club. He's fully involved with the club in everything they do at the minute. And, like, football and tactically wise, he's proved it against. Like, no one could have Wenger off, could he? All right, he might have got a bit of a slapped ass and bloody nose against Mourinho, but anyone can come and do what he done. Do you know what I mean? 2 banks of 4. Newcastle tried to do it on the last day as well. You know, we're only that day, like, we got 2 quick goals against them. But tactically, he's proved himself against these top managers. Like, who is the top manager out there now? Ancelotti, that's not in the Prem. All the top managers are in the Prem, really, aren't they? You can say that Klopp and all that, but he hasn't won nothing, has he? Do you know what I mean? Until you come over here, the thing that you're a top manager over here is because you're against 10 top teams. In any other league, you're only against 2 or 3 decent teams. It's always Barcelona, you know what I mean? Real Madrid, it's either Paris Saint-Germain and Monaco, or whatever. It's only 2 teams. You've got 10. Italian league, yeah, well, there's only Juventus that won it 3 years on the bounce by 12 points or something, haven't they? But going back to Brendan, I'm so happy that like we've been proved right personally about, like, do you know what I mean? You know, you don't want to see the fellas. You see the fellas who you say, I see them all the time. I used to leg them. Do you know what I mean? In the pub, and they won't talk Liverpool. But I'm going over to talk to them to be happy. What you reckon we're getting on? And they're like, oh, he's going to leg me in a minute because I don't like Brendan. But I'm not coming over to have a go at them. I'm just trying to embrace. You know what I mean? You don't want to be like some smart ass. Like. But Brendan, I'm so happy that we took him on board and everything that he's doing for the club, because I know there's only bright times ahead with us under him. And there's fellas who are jumping. What happens next year, like, you know, you won't be able to play like 4 games or 3 games a week. Why won't we? Why won't we? If you want to play, we've proved it. If you want to play happy football, you don't get injured. Do you know what I mean? You play through injuries if you want to play for this fella who makes you believe in things. He sold a dream to them and they're all on it now. Do you know what I mean? Probably when he first walked in, even Gerrard and that were going, what's he on about? But now they're all like that. He's got a plan, he's got a vision. I want to be on board with this. And this is why fellas are jumping on board. Top, like you said, top World Cup stars want to jump on board with us. Because they can see it's laid out. And if you can't see it, you don't know footy. You can see it's laid out for success, what he's trying to do.
If you're a young kid from, you know, the hottest prospect in Europe or whatever, and you're looking at what's going on at Liverpool at the moment, you'd want to sign that dotted line, wouldn't you? The fella's he's going to be putting us in the frame for winning trophies. We play great football, great arena. He has a great unity about the squad. I touched on earlier, you know, all the squad at the start of the season, when we looked at the squad, every single one of them has improved this year. Every one of them has played 2 or 3 levels above what you'd expected them to play. That's what his man management is doing. Correct. They're going to play to that higher level. Lallana, by the sounds of it, there's a couple of teams that have come in for him. He was my number 1 target. He's the one that I want us to go and get, because he fits so much into the mould of what we want to do. He's a Liverpool player. He wants to sign for Liverpool. He wants to be a Liverpool player by the sounds of it. All bets are off at United. All bets are off for everyone else. I want to sign for Liverpool. And
Evertonian as well.
Everton, by all. It's great, yeah. He must see what's going on there. Young English lads about to go on a new journey in Europe together. New fresh team. He's going to add, you know, a bit of quality by the sound. He's going to go for quality over quantity, and these players that he brings in, he's going to improve them. That's all he's done all his life, is improve young players. That's what he's bred on.
I like the way he's come out now, and he's going to sign players who's got the right mentality. He wants these players who believe in his system and who's going to work for him. Because the way Liverpool played, what is it? Is it this 6-second thing to get the ball back? And he said he wants them to work in training non-stop, bang at it, get the ball back, win the ball back, and put it into practice in the match. And he had been doing that, and they're listening to him. And he seems, and you've met him in America, and you know, he's the type of fella you can talk to. He's Shankly-esque, as you just said. You know, he's an affable fella. He seems like a nice fella as well. You know, he's only young. He's only 41, and to be 41, and he's been in the game for 20 years, as he said. He knows his stuff. And it's no fluke at all, in my eyes, that he's come in this season and set what he wanted to play, how he wanted to play, and they've all took it on board, they've all listened, and they've all thought, yeah, this fella knows his stuff. And if he's going to bring in players, and like the Lallana fella, who I think will sign, he's our type of player, and all going to work and graft for him, because He's bang on, and amazed up. He's got his own song. And now he's got his own song now, so yeah, I think it's all right. And so anyway, and he's made up with that. He's banging his chest and all that as he's walking out the pitch. So Brendan Rodgers here for a long while.
Ticking all the box. Hang on, Martin's queuing up here, Col.
I think one of the things that impresses me about him, whenever he talks, he always talks about work and hard work and us working together. And like Colin said, that Shankly-esque thing about the socialist thing that Shankly brought to us about, working for the city. He always talks about the work we're doing. We're going to work, and I think that's great.
He's put his heart and soul into Liverpool.
Yeah.
I knew he'd arrived, Jock, when he had that makeover. He got all his railings done. I think it was Everton, it was the Derby. I think he's had all his railings done and then he's had a full dip on the Barnet. You knew then, we've got a Premier League manager.
So there it is, Brendan Rodgers. We're all agreed. He ticks all the boxes.
He's only going to get stung by the heartbreak he's had. Do you know what I mean? You become a better manager by your heartbreak, not by your successes. Do you know what I mean? And don't forget, he's only been a manager 5 years.
He hasn't moaned all groans, has he? He's just got right on with it, with dignity as well. He said City, deserve to win it. And he'll just take it. And he's going to relish playing in that Champions League next season because he's been all over Europe. Don't forget, he's fluent in Italian and Spanish and this, that and the other. And he's been all over, but he's going to relish that Champions League next season.
Yeah, here's what he's done with class, just before we finish on the Brandinho thing. He said something after the game against Chelsea, and here's another thing why Mourinho definitely gets this as well, the little shithouse. Right, he said, they parked 2 buses, which they did, and Mourinho went, which was a private phone call that he spoke about after, and he's had to come out now in a Champions League semi-final press conference and just spout about it, right? And he said, Brendan phoned me in the house. So that's a private call. Should be talking about it with the people. He said, Brendan phoned me in the house, and he's apologised and all this, and he doesn't know what he said. But Brendan come back out in his press conference on the Friday at 2:00 and went, he said, I didn't apologise. He said, I just told him what I said. He said, I know quite well what I said. No, Mourinho said he doesn't know what he said. He said, I know what I said to him. He said, but I know Mourinho, I know what he's like, and I know him inside out, and he knows me. He said, I didn't phone and apologise, I just told, you know what I mean? It was brilliant, because I was trying for Brendan to come back. He does it, but he doesn't do it horrible like that fella, you know what I mean?
That's the way to type people like Mourinho up, is to be clever with them. Yeah. He's thick, Mourinho, that's what he comes out, he's like the our woman of the firm, and Brendan just come out, ties them up in honesty, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so as you say, everything's looking good with Fudgy. Also known as Brendan. But I'd also like to talk about our fans this season as well, and particularly the Spine Cop 1906 lads who've what they've done in the Cop this season, and not on the back of success. They've been doing it from early on. You know what I mean, Colin?
I remember when we heard it was going to happen, Jock. We'd done a show the night before the Tottenham game, and I remember us all being like little kids, can't wait to get there, where are we going to see? Or was it Sunderland? Whatever. Well, the first game I'd done, I was away for the Sunderland one, that's right, and the only one that I could make, the first one I could make due to work commitments was the Tottenham one. And I remember being like a big kid talking about it on the show the night before. And when I got there, I'm nearly fucking 50. I was standing next to kids who were 8 and 9, screaming me heads off on the Caveney gate, where Tony nearly castrated himself. But brilliant what them lads done. Absolutely fantastic. Yeah. The bad side about it was the last one, the Newcastle game. I've never seen anything like there was thousands there. You couldn't get anywhere near where you wanted to stand. It was like? Absolutely was the brilliant. Buzz the same? Oh, the buzz was exactly the same. But the only problem was it's gone. It was glorified for the wrong words that I want, but it was really good.
You've totally picked up on the wrong subject there, sort of. They go back a long way. I'm talking about what they're doing on the Cop, the Spine Cop. The flags, yeah. They've been selling T-shirts and making money out of T-shirts. To flags. And you look at that Cop now, and it arcs back to the 70s. It really does. Okay, it's a bit more planned, but these young kids, what they're doing, they're not bothering about anyone else. And the only ones on par with them are Crystal Palace.
Well, that's good, because these are Scouts kids. It's their club. Do you know what I mean? These aren't out of towners on day trips with Thomas Cooper in 1.5 for an overnight stay. And it's the Scouts kids whose dads have gone the game. The dads are probably the same age as us, a little bit older. These have got it ingrained in them. And them flag days were absolutely fantastic. Albeit the last one got out of hand. There felt like there was millions there.
It's an homecoming. Where do you stand with these away fans, Carl? Because you know he's at Manchester Airport picking them up, or you don't really like the top.
I'm not talking about my Norwegian friends here. No, I'm not telling us some.
National Express fans.
No, I'd just like to say as well, yeah, before the Newcastle game, we were talking to Steve Martin before the game, and I said to him, I'd like the first game of the season and Anfield next season for us to do it. Yeah. Just to carry on. Just even if it's just the first home game.
Champions League, mate.
You know what I mean? Just to say, yeah, we're still carrying on. Even if it doesn't go on all season, it doesn't have to go on all season. But as you said, what they've done, making money and putting it back into the car. The flag, how colourful it is now. As you say, it's like the 70s. I think it's better than the 70s and 80s, really, isn't it?
I didn't know they'd done that, sold t-shirts and what have you, badges,
yeah,
to put money back into it. That's brilliant,
and make a lot of the flags themselves. Yeah, they're quite organised, and they do a great show on Anfield FM as well on a Tuesday.
Is there any plans you might notice, Jock, to put Brendan on that new flag?
You're talking about flag where the five of them. Yeah, surely. He's got his own flag now, Brendan. There's a couple of Brendan flags, but surely his face has got it on there. Yeah, so there it is. Great. Thanks for the young kids who are doing what they're doing, and long may it continue. Anfield FM as well. We've had a great season. We're up to 1 million listeners, 1 million tune-ins for this season. So I'll be getting in touch with Paul, my boss, this week and seeing whether that check's in the post for us. For us.
You're going to have to know 2 million listeners.
So anyway, so stay tuned to Anfield FM during the summer. There's a chance we might be doing a show from Rio, the World Cup. If not, with Liverpool fans in Rio. If not, we'll be back live again from Chicago on.
Do you need passport numbers, John?
Yeah, we'll be back from Chicago live in June the 27th. Myself, Tony, and a few others. The night before the game, only. So we'll be going live and straight back into a new season. But anyway, this time 13 years ago, we were waking up in Amsterdam with a huge hangover after one of the great European Cup finals, not European Cup final, but European finals in history. Was you there, man? Was everyone there? You were a bit too young then, was you? Yeah. What a great final, though. That 13 years ago yesterday. Yeah.
5-4. It was weird because we all plotted in the dam, didn't we? So we had to get to Dortmund. A big Paulie put a coach. Well, he put a coach on, didn't he? We got a coach. We got a coach from the old style. One big chatter there.
I was on a black handed Jock. I didn't even know 13 years ago.
Yeah.
Someone told me before.
Yeah, you was on our coach.
I was found unconscious the night before the game in Amsterdam, mate, and I don't know where I slept that night. So yeah, anything could have gone on. I was on a kebab and a load of dough stuff back down my ass pocket. Someone paid me.
Outside, there was just non-stop things happening, wasn't he? There was like little fans turning up from Utrecht, wanted to fight with it, and then there was Erich Meyer was on the red, and then there was just non-stop. It was like surreal. You were running around and the whole thing. It was like a circus. It's like the Warriors. Yeah, the Lissies were there and all that.
Not only that, it was, as you say, it was one of the greatest European finals we've been involved in. Another one.
Turnout up there with the Istanbul turnout.
Do you remember how we won it?
Seventh out, that ground was us.
Do you remember how we won it? We won it on a golden goal. We won it on a golden goal. No, it was an OG. It was an own goal.
Who was that crazy Greek fella in the jacket who come belting on the pitch and jumped on them? Little fanny head.
It was extra time. It was next goal a winner. UEFA had introduced this golden goal awards. Once you got to extra time, whoever scored the next goal won it. Gary Mack curled a free kick in. Some plant pot from Alaves rose like a salmon and just glanced it past the goalkeeper. And I remember Georgie Cruyff, who used to play for United, crying his eyes out in front of me and Jenna, and we were just sticking 2 fingers up to him.
I remember the Alaves shirt had the name of every single season sticker on the shirt, didn't it? Everton could do one of them.
Yeah, but like everyone, we can recognise that golden goal thing as kids ourselves, because it was like next goal the winner, wasn't it? And like, but I remember outside I bought like a black, remember the black Alaves shirts? They were just white, yellow with the blue, with the thing up. We were buying outside yellow with a round blue neck. Don't know where it went, like, but
what stadium as well, that was Dortmund's
Westfalen
Stadium. I mean, we walked in, we were on the sides, about 10 of us on the sides, and when we've walked through, you just seen colour and noise, and I just thought, wow, we've arrived in football here.
I remember the smell in there as well.
The smell of success.
That was Amsterdam, Chris.
That was the ale Tony had been drinking the night before.
No, that was people come from Amsterdam.
I remember the smell.
It was a nice.
Well, that was the first time I'd ever tasted Desperados. This is what caused me to be in the state I was the night before. Desperados and extremely strong drugs.
What a season though as well. The Arsenal game in Cardiff, qualified for the Champions League for the first time at Charlton. And the League Cup, Birmingham in the League Cup, where Jamie Carragher of all people scored the winner.
A real treble that year, wasn't it?
The Mickey Mouse treble.
Yeah, it was the start of a good little period there when Ule was there. We had a good little spell there. The emergence of Stevie G that year as well. It was good times.
Skinhead.
Yeah, with his naughty stale skinhead.
So anyway, we're about to wind up for this season. Anything else, lads?
No mentions, Twitter page?
Sorry, come on.
We've been quiet on the Twitter.
We should have to. Must be a few people to thank.
Thanks for listening.
I'll tell you why I've been quiet.
West night and the boss night as
well.
Oh yeah, that Sunday was really good. I only caught the end of it. But go quickly back to Twitter. We'll be up and active again. I'm just having problems with my phone at the moment. So give it a week or two and we'll be back online. But just thanks very much for everyone on Twitter who's been following us. All the Anfield Road lads, you know who you are. Ian Riley. Too many to mention, but thanks very much for the following.
It's a cult following, isn't it? So it's the same lads who listen all the time. So we must be doing something right. I know you feel a bit like who am I to talk about Liverpool when there's fellas who are long saved, more years saved, wasn't you? But why not us talk about Liverpool and get things off our chest? But lads can appreciate what we're saying.
Yeah, I'd like to thank a few of the lads from Boss Magazine who support us, the SOS Mono and that, who do live from the Mono and Keith, who do live from the Solly, Robbie from the Solly for hosting us, Mick from that Scarf and Badge, who's making a fortune out of his adverts on Anfield FM. Chris?
Yeah, I'd like to see next season get a few of the lads who you just mentioned on the show there, but one person in particular who just stumbled across, who you just bumped into in the way to Palace, Tarquin, his name is. Kevin Morlands, mate. Kevin Morlands, great lad, Kevin. Get Kevin on. Kevin knows enough. No, get Kevin to bring Tarquin on. But Tarquin, we bumped into him after the Newcastle game. He is an absolute legend. He's hilarious.
For years as well, I didn't know that.
But he didn't know he was following football though at one point.
I think he thought the Newcastle game was the first game of the season.
I've got an interview with Tarquin, and I think I'll put it on after the show. So anyway, we started this show. I'm finishing up now, lads. Right? I'm finishing up now, lads. We started this show off with. I asked you all whether you gutted, and everyone agreed to gutted. So I'm just going to ask you, this season gone in just one word. Give me one word for the season just gone.
Football.
Brilliant.
Back.
Brilliant from me as well.
Groundbreaking.
He's always got to. He's always got to say something different.
Pivotal.
Back was a good shout. Yeah.
And one of the great words I remember of this season was from Colin was dog shit, but I can't remember who it was. So thanks for joining us all this season, and stick with us, and up the Reds.
Up the Reds.